Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another international show. Obviously, the Republic of Ireland play Finland on Thursday and England on Saturday away from home. The Finland game's at the Aviva. We'll talk about the squad first before we actually preview the game. Daz going to give us a starting 11 as well, what he thinks should be his personal starting 11 more so than what he thinks the manager's going to pick. So that could be interesting. I have no idea what he's done here. But the squad has been just two new players in, Daz, really. Andy Moran's come in from Stoke and Tom Cannon's come in from Stoke as well. And as we're recording, nobody's withdrawn, but there's a good chance someone might withdraw. You know what I mean? If someone's watching this later on, let's say in a few days or something. But your thoughts on those two players coming in?
Yeah, I suppose I'll start with Moran first. Um, he's a good player on loan at Stoke City. He's in their team. He's playing regularly in the Championship. For anyone who maybe doesn't watch the Championship or know Moran, he's an attacking midfielder. He's creative. He's like a Wes Hoolahan in a way with how he kind of plays. I think that's something we've been missing in the midfield. I think a lot of our central midfielders offer the same type of player. I think Moran gives you that bit of difference, that bit of creativity that I was hoping as I think I've been saying his
More of an
name
eye
wrong,
for a
but
goal, I would suggest as well,
an
maybe.
eye goal. Yeah, he's scored a few goals in
Yeah.
Championship, but above all, he's playing regularly and playing well and confident. And I think he has to be picked because at the time, doing a 21s had a good chance of qualifying, and they did need their best players at disposal. Now that he's not there, I would like to see him play, start, and get into that team because I think he could make that spot his. He doesn't have too much rivalry for the position he's playing. So I'm delighted to see him included. He's a young player. He's a very exciting player. Probably one of our most exciting players. I think that's going to break through in this Ireland team. I don't see an awful lot more players going to break through. And finally, on to Tom Cannon, the striker who scored. It was either 3 or 4 goals before the last squad got announced and didn't make it. But he's been in good form lately. He's been starting. He's been working hard, and I'm delighted he's declared fully for the Republic and wants to play for us. And it's great to see another striker on board. So I'm very excited to see him come into the team and see what he can do.
Thoughts on Matt Doherty not making the squad again?
Yeah, look, he's an exposed man. So he hasn't played much at all. I think he's the last six squads for Wolves. I don't think he actually played, and if he did play, it was like 15 minutes of a game he played. I think his attitude is a bit rotten. He's expected to be in the team. He's saying, even though I'm not playing, I should be there anyway. I think his comments were quite rude the last time. It was like playing a centre back, right back when you have a right back. Me, as in Doherty, like he's saying he should be playing. The sense of entitlement I thought was disgusting. I didn't like his attitude. He seems to be like a bad egg. I really don't like talking badly about any player, but an Irish player or an exposed player, I really don't. But all of them comments collectively have annoyed me. Like,
Mm,
don't be going out in the press and saying that if you're not playing yourself. If
mm.
he was actually playing in the Premier League or the Championship and playing well and said that, I'd say, look, do you know what? He really wants to play, and it's unfortunate he's missing out. But the
Mm.
reality of it is he's not. Go get a move and start playing and get yourself into the squad. Don't be bigging yourself up saying that you should be in the team when you're not. So I'm very happy that Heimer and O'Shea have both put the foot down and said, do you know what? No, we don't really want you in this team at the minute. But Coleman's only back from an injury. He hasn't really made his match day squad with Everton. He's only played 190 minutes, I think, this season, if even. And there's a high chance if he does pull out that Hartley's going to pull back in. So he could be in the team, but he wouldn't be in my team. That's a spoiler alert for my squad. But I
Mm.
do think it's interesting how he wasn't included, how Heimer didn't bring him in, and he didn't just have him as a body there, even though we're kind of light in fullbacks areas.
Yeah, there's something about Matt Doherty for a good few years. I've never really warmed to him at all, to be honest. Something about his body language, or apart from the recent comments and all that, there's something about his body language on the pitch. He just seems to be a player that seems to have a bit of an attitude problem. Maybe thinks he's better than he actually is. At times, I don't think he's worked as hard as he could do, particularly when Ireland have had a lot of young players in the squad. I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah.
he's a player that's led by example in the way, even
No.
half the way Coleman has, or anything like that. I think the last game he played, it was he switched off. Now players can make mistakes and stuff, but pure laziness. Like, and instead of looking at yourself, he comes out in in the press, whatever, with comments as you alluded to a few minutes ago. And for me. that would be enough for me as a manager to say, right, he's definitely not on the squad next time, you know? So he just seems, for me, I've never warmed to him, even when he was playing quite well. He just always seemed to have a bit of an attitude, a bit of a entitlement, I think you used as well, and a bit of an arrogance, if I'm honest with you. I don't mind players being confident in that, that's fine, brilliant, but I never warmed to Matt Doherty,
Yeah.
probably from a long, long time ago, and he's, the last couple of years, especially, I think he's really just looks like a player that has no interest in being on the pitch when he plays, particularly for Ireland. So for me, I personally wouldn't have him in the squad if he was the last person in Ireland available, based on that. That's my honest opinion on it. So there you
My
go. So the
my favorite
manager,
thing about
yeah,
Matt Doherty is he got Bows 1.5 million 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
yeah,
So
yeah.
thanks Matt for that. I thought that was a insane
I
clause in
heard
his
he's
contract.
looking for it back.
That
Uh,
that finally happened. But look, it's I wouldn't say look, I don't miss him not being in the team. He could, when this video goes out, he very much could be included. So he could
I
still
just
be a
prefer
part of it.
someone, even if someone was less talented. Not that he's played well for a long time,
Yeah,
in my opinion, but even someone who's less talented who clearly has a better attitude,
yeah,
I'd take
absolutely.
them all
Yeah,
day, every day. So that's my
yes.
thoughts. Daz, your personal 1 to 11. First of all, what formation? Heimer's gone for three at the back quite a lot lately, hasn't he?
He has gone for three at the back, so this might annoy a few people because I've went with four at the back. Just to be a bit different. But apart from that, the
Mm.
reason why I went four at the back is I think we need to go back to basics. Would be hard to beat. Under Stephen Kenny, we lost nearly every game, and if we didn't lose, we carved out a few draws here and there. It wasn't great. I just think since we switched to three at the back, it just hasn't went well for us. But in terms of that can change to a five, and you don't have the ball and etc. like that. But I went with a four at the back because the way I've set up my midfield, I just think it would work a bit better. And just more solidarity throughout the team. Like we need to be a bit harder to beat. I do think we can get something against Finland. And I'd like to think we can get something against England. So I want us to be hard to beat and hard to break down. I'd rather that than concede 3 or 4 goals, really. So I went one 4-2-3-1.
4-2-3-1. What did you go with? Who's your keeper?
So look, I think first of all, Mark Travis is doing very well in goals lately. He's got to getting back into the team. He's been doing good. O'Leary, obviously, he's been included in the last few teams. I would have had him if it was a friendly, but it's not a friendly, so
Mm.
I didn't pick him. I went with Kelleher, tried and tested. Man of the match, his last performance, I think it was.
Mm.
He hasn't really let Ireland down. He's a good keeper. He's been a number one since Bazuna was out. So I went with Kelleher. I don't think there'd be too much arguments there.
Right back. Not Mark Doherty anyway, even though he's not in the squad.
No, not Matt Doherty, no. I went with I was going to say John O'Shea. I went with Darragh O'Shea. I think he's probably one of our most versatile players. He can play right back, right wing back, centre back, left back. I think he's a terrific player. He's one of my, like, I really like him as a player. I think he's been doing reasonably well with Ipswich and the Premier League, and obviously he's a Premier League player. So I went with O'Shea. I think he's solid. He's sound. He's a good player, a good body, a good engine. I think he's got a lot of things we need in the team, and yeah, I went with O'Shea. I think people will probably be happy enough with that.
Left back.
Yeah, so I went with Scales. People will say Scales can't defend. I get that, but I just think he's been really good with Ireland lately. I think he's been really confident when he plays with us. I think one thing we have missed from the likes of the Randolph and the O'Shea and the Long era, like them players, is players really stepping it up when they put on an Ireland shirt, being better for the country than they are with the club. And we've seen that in the past, 10 years ago with players who play much better with internationally than we do with the club. I think Scales has been doing really well with Celtic. Well, obviously he's been doing quite good with them, and I think he's done really well with Ireland.
Mm.
As well as that, it's been a problem position for Ireland left back. We have O'Dowda, who's gone on like a 5 or 6 game winning streak with Cardiff, but in my opinion, can't defend. So I think the next best
He's not a
option was to
national
go with Scales.
defender.
No, he's not. No doubt, it's not a national defender, but he plays left back with Cardiff. People want to go
Mm.
down that route, so he has been playing there with them.
Mm.
But I
Mm.
went with Scales. I think, in my opinion, I think if you're going to go with a left back, I think Scales is
Mm.
probably the best option. So I went with Scales left back.
Yeah, two centre backs.
The first one, Nathan Collins, an obvious pick. We all know what he can do, and we should be in the team. I think he's a good player, so he's there. Next one, I went with McGuinness off Luton. He hasn't been capped yet, to my knowledge. I don't think he has been. I think, bring in change. We've not really to lose in the next 2 games. I think it's an opportunity for players to come in and really grab the jersey, make it themselves, make an impression. I think the time to do it is in a competitive game. It's the best chance to put on the show and to show what you're about. He's been playing consistently with Luton. I've watched him a few times. I thought he was actually quite good. He's very tall, very strong. He kind of gives me Shane Duffy vibes in a way. He's good at headers. He's good at clearances. He's brave. I think he would do quite well. So I'd really like to see him play. So I've put him in. I'd like to see him get a chance. I would give him a chance against Finland.
Who would you go in your midfield?
So I went with a three midfield, a diamond shape. Jason Knight. I think he's a reasonable enough choice. I think 9 out of 10 people probably have him in their midfield. Out of all the midfielders we have, he's someone I probably nearly always put in the team sheet. He's always going to give you a 6 out of 10, I think, at least. He's a real
Works
workhorse.
extremely hard off the ball as well, though.
Works really hard. He gets up and down that pitch. Probably the best engine in our team, in my opinion. And has played a lot of games for his age. He's played an awful lot of games for his age. And he's playing every week in the championship with Bristol. So I think he's a really good player. So I went with him. Beside him then, it was a bit hard to pick. I wanted him in the team, so he's not really playing a defensive role. He's kind of playing more of a creative role. Just to say that as a disclaimer before people are like, you put him in the wrong position. Sammy Smilix. I just think you have to have him in the team. I don't really want to see him on the wing. I think he struggles in the wing a little bit. But I just think if he's beside Knight, who's someone who's going to ground a defence, get up and down, you can let him have that creative kind of freedom a little bit more to get up and down the pitch. And I think he's someone who will want to get a few shots and goals. He's someone who can put a ball in from deep into the box if he has to. He can someone who can drift in and out of areas, drift forward, drift back, drift wide. I'd like to see that. I think he's one of our very few really talented ball players who's could play really well with the ball at his feet and is dangerous with a ball, who can open up a defence and has an eye for goal. I think he's someone who needs to be in the team for us to have a chance. So I've put him beside him. He's not a defensive midfielder. He's a central midfielder who can get up and back. But mainly going forward, I'd like to see Knight kind of supporting a box-to-box role in front of the back four. So I went with them two beside each other.
Yeah, my fear there a little bit will be we might be a bit exposed though. That's the only thing. I don't think they have the defensive nous to be able to sit if they have to sit and stuff like that. Maybe see danger from a defensive point of view. That would be my personal issue there. But who else? Who have you gone for further ahead then? Have you gone for number 10? Is it?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, but firstly, I think that's probably why people won't agree with this team. They're probably like, you've kind of left us kind of too open, and I can see people's concerns with that, especially having McGuinness centre back. You'd probably be thinking what you doing, but I think because we don't really have a chance of qualifying, we need to try new things. We need to bring new players in. If we have a player who's in the squad, the last few squads, and are not getting a game, give them a game. And in this game, it doesn't. Results matter, but what I'm saying is if we lost 1-0 but played really well, and the likes of McGuinness put in that 9 out of 10 performance, and you're like, geez, he played really, really well. I think that's more of a positive than playing, say, Shane Duffy, who puts in a 6 out of 10 and we still lose 1-0, for example. Shane Duffy's obviously there in the team as well. And in terms of Smodix playing there, he could be left up, and yes, you absolutely could be, but that's where the manager needs to spot that and change it in the game if he was to go with that system, which is what I'd be hoping to do, because we haven't really seen an Ireland team be too creative in the past. They've been very defensively and still lost games. So that's my reasoning behind putting him there. But in the number 10, I put Moran. I would really like to think he gets a chance to play and to start, especially against Finland. I think it's an opposition where he'd be more safe putting Moran on and giving him responsibility and a chance than starting him, for example, against England, where he might go with a Josh Cullen and Jason Knight in front of him with a Smodix if he wants to go that kind of route. People probably go like that against Finland as well. But I think Moran it'd be a good stage for him to get on in front of the home crowd. It'd be a good chance for him to link up with the players. It'd be a good chance for him to try and do something against Finland, and he will have more of the ball than against England. And Moran's a player that plays with the ball. He's not really exactly that good without it. He's just that kind of player, in my opinion, which is okay too, because he's creative. So I went with Moran there. I'd like to see him start a game, not just come on for 10 minutes. I would like to see him start, and I hope he gets a chance. And if he does, I hope he takes it. So I went with Moran there.
Two wingers.
Interesting as well. I went with Ebosele on the right side.
Oh, on the wing. Interesting.
I went one on the wing. He was actually listed in the match day in the squad as an attacker, not in the defenders. So they listed him there. I don't know if that was a mistake or not. I haven't had a chance to listen to the press conference yet. I don't think it was. But I just think Ebosele I haven't seen too much of him. He's obviously playing with Watford now, and he's doing quite okay with them. I think I haven't seen an awful lot of him this season, but from what I
He
have
made
seen
an
him,
impact though for
yeah,
Ireland,
yeah,
didn't he, against Finland coming
in,
off the bench when he played wing back.
he did,
Made
yeah, he
a very
did.
good impact there. So
I thought he was positive straight away. He wanted to get the ball. He was confident. He
you're
ran at
looking
the
at him and you kind of go,
defense.
he can make mistakes, but at the same time, when you're that high up the pitch, I like players to take a risk high up the pitch.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
risks paid off for him, but you're going to lose the ball as well. But that's fine for me, high up the pitch. In the final third, I
yeah.
want players being a bit brave.
I think so too, and I think he's so young and enthusiastic and full of
Mm.
pace. I think he's going to give us that. And I think he could be very hard to defend against that pace and spreading the pitch really wide and
Mm.
creating our chances and bringing players into play. And I also think his work rate is really good. He will get back. He will help out, and I think he wants to be there for the cause, and he wants to play for Ireland. He wants to be a really good player, and that's something that I would like to see. And he's obviously quite young as well, so bringing a bit of youth into the team. He's not too young, but he's getting there, and he's playing with Watford in the Championship. So I went for him
Uh,
there. I'd like to see him start. Yeah,
right, Dad. So left wing.
not McCartan Key.
I am.
Sorry.
Let me do that bit again, though.
Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
Daz. Left wing.
I went with Mikey Johnson. I think he's the last 2 years. I think he's been quite a good player. I think he has an eye for goal. He's been in okay form in the last, season, and that we don't have an awful lot of options in terms of wingers. If you were going to put someone on, like Casey McAteer is not playing for Leicester. The other kind of players we have are, the more strikers. Like you got Ferguson, you've got Tom Cannon, you've got Ida, you've got Ferguson. They'd be all out of position, I think, if you're going to put them there. We're obviously missing Ogbene, Brady, a few other players. Like Ogbene would have been in my team for sure, as everybody's team probably. So I kind of went with the next best option, in my opinion. That's not a striker. I'm trying to stick players' positions if possible. I know O'Shea's out of position. I know Scales is and Osmonics is, but
Well, O'Shea's played right back
yeah,
quite a lot. To
he
be
has. But
fair. Um.
I tried to reason me, not do anything
Yeah.
silly, but like yeah, well, I think Johnson be the next best one. I'd like to see what he can do. Like let him have a game, let him start, and give him a chance.
Mm.
So that's kind of what I went for with this team, which is a bit different. Normally, I'm kind of a safe bet kind of guy. I kind of pick players where I know what they're going to give me, players you can trust, players who've been there, done it. I'm a fan of them. I'm a fan of consistency and stuff doing like that. But I think change can be good, and change can be really good when you've nothing to lose. We currently have nothing to lose, and this is every player's chance to step up. So Mikey Johnson for me, I think he obviously had a few good seasons lately. So let him have a start. Let him see what he can do.
And the striker. Few options here.
Few options here. Honourable mentions, obviously. I often went with Troy Parra. It was very hard not to. I actually really wanted to. I think he deserves a game to start. He's obviously having a really good season, and he's been really good. Evan Ferguson obviously has scored a goal recently enough for Brighton, his first goal in a very long time. For me, he's not done enough to start a game, in my opinion. I went with Tom Cannon. Um,
Ooh, a bit of a joker in the pack a little bit there, I suppose.
yeah, right in, start the game from start to finish, full 90 minutes. See what you can do. Have a few shots, try and get a goal. This is your chance. Seize the opportunity. Let's see what you can do. And that's what I'd be saying to him going out. Make this position yours. They keep getting in ahead of Ida and ahead of Ferguson. I think it's an interesting one. And I actually think I'm a big fan of throwing players into the deep end at times as well. If you're going to, I know I said I go for
Hmm.
consistency, but if you have a new player in the team, give them the chance. Say, look, this is your chance now. And like for example, if Dennis Kirkin off Sunderland suddenly overnight decided to
Yeah,
declare he'd be my left back. That's what I
yeah.
kind of mean by saying that. Well, he hasn't, so we've gone with Scales. But I put Tom Cannon in. I really like him. I'm very happy he decided to come on board, and I think he's got an eye for a goal. He's good at finishing. He's young. He's fast. He's direct.
Hmm.
Let's see what he can do. So that'll be my 11. I know there's probably a few surprises in there. I certainly know people won't agree with the shape. They won't agree with the players in it. So it'll make for an
Interesting.
interesting discussion point. I like when people kind of pick teams that are not the old usual reliable ones.
Hmm.
But I certainly would really like to see Cannon and Moore start a game together. I think they're really good together. So I just think I'd like to see it. So that'll be my 11.
Interesting. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a very quick like rundown of my 11. I'd actually go with the 3-5-2 system personally. This is what I think I go for, not what I think the manager will do or should do. Well, obviously, I think he should do it if I'm going for it. Kelleher, obviously, in goal. I'd go, the three centre backs I'd go for would be Dara Shea in the right, Nathan Collins in the centre, Liam Scales on the left. I would go with O'Dowd as the left wing back. I think he could do a job as a left wing back. Ebezelli for me, right wing back. In midfield, I'd actually go with Josh Cullen and Jason Knight. I think he can fling Cullen, Knight, and Malumbi into a mixer and pick any two out nearly. That's what I do there. I would go with two kind of number 10s, Roman number 10s as such. And I would go with Smodics, and I'd actually go with Mikey Johnson. You know, he can come wide, he can come in. You know, he's versatile in that regard, I should say. And up front, not an easy choice, but I actually go with Adam Ida because I think he's good at everything without being brilliant at one thing. I think he can stretch a defence, he can hold it up, he can play the channels and stuff like that, and get in behind as well. So that's the team actually I'd go for. But it'd be interesting to see what people think in the comments. What team would they go for, etc., etc.
Two completely different teams there.
But with the Finland game, though, I do think that's an important game. Like with the group, we're out of sight really in terms of catching Greece and England. But it's important that we stay in this league, and we're 3 points ahead of Finland. So even a draw probably pretty much guarantees, in my opinion, that we'll finish ahead of Finland. But we did beat them last time out in a game where could have went either way, to be honest with you, that game. I thought Ireland in that second half were much better, and I'd like to see them bring some of that style of play that they had in the second half from the start this time. I think they pressed Finland for the large part in that second half, got joy out of it. Finland were very uncomfortable trying to play from the back, because they tried to play from the back, by the way. And I don't know if Ireland didn't know they'd do that, or if that was the plan to, you know, sit a little in the first half, not press too high, because we felt we couldn't do it for 90 minutes maybe, but we did in the second half, put them under pressure, and obviously won the game 2-1, which was a crucial win really. So a point here, you know, it's not that's a good or bad result, it just means that we're staying in the Nations League in this particular division. I don't think it'd be good if we went down, but I'd like to see us, as I said, take some of that second half performance into the game on Thursday, to be honest, and hopefully beat them again, to be honest.
Yeah. I think firstly, I actually very quickly really like your team. The only thing I'm outraged about,
I know, it's
is
brilliant,
not
isn't
playing.
it?
It's not playing more, and I don't think that's acceptable. That's the type of stuff that previous managers would do. You get a great player and you don't play him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good one. But
Close though. I'd
apart from
have no
that,
problem with him starting though, I have to say,
oh
in the Roman number 10 position either, I have to say. Any
yeah,
two of
yeah.
those three. But
But
yeah.
interesting team. But I think Finland is a game we should be looking at to win. We haven't had many wins at all the last 3-4 years. Like very, very few.
And if
And
we're
the fact
honest
that we
about Finland have been very poor recently as well, to be
have been
honest.
poor, but like you said, that game really could have went either way.
Yeah.
But like I have said years ago, the only thing people remember is the result. Well, I don't care how we play as long as we win. Like people still talk about beating Germany in the Aviva Stadium,
We
and we
did play
well,
well in that game in the second half against Finland, I have
yeah,
to
we
say. I
did.
know we
We
coughed up
we
chances, but we
we
did
certainly
play well.
changed. We
Yeah.
certainly changed our approach in the second half. We were a
Yeah.
lot more lively. We were a
Yeah.
lot more in their faces. We were a lot more direct. We were a lot more running at defenses.
They were very
A lot of
cautious in that
balls.
first half, I felt.
Yeah, they were. They
Too
were.
cautious.
I do think it was instructions to not, as you said, press straight away, to not be really at them. I noticed they were kind of pressing near the halfway line, confident, let them have the ball, and then when they kind of go up a little bit, it's going to kind of
Mm,
start pressing then. And if you are, pressing the front,
mm,
you are running the risk of players being about 60% in the second half. Some of them anyway.
mm.
We don't want
I can
that.
understand
So
against a better side because you're afraid to play through you and get round you, but I never
yeah, like
felt
England
Finland were good
said.
enough to do that.
Yeah, I don't think they are, and I definitely think it's a game we should be looking at to win, and I'm hoping we will get a win. And I think I'd like to think that we will. I think we are good enough to get a win. We've bet them already, but the only thing is we've had a lot of injuries. We don't with Coleman's hit and miss. Bennett's not there, Brady's not there, Smallbone's not there. These are all players that played in these games.
Give a
Obviously, what
prediction for
happened?
the Finland game first.
Oh yeah, prediction. I'm actually going to go at 1-0 Ireland win. I think we're going to win. I think we're going to keep a clean sheet. I'd like to think that. I think that would be an ideal result, keeping a clean sheet and getting a goal and getting a win. That's
Yeah,
the best outcome.
yeah, I think so as well. And I would like to see us, as I say, take that template from the
The second half
performance.
performance, yeah.
Yeah, Coleman didn't play actually in the game in Finland, but the other players that we mentioned actually did. So so what do you call it?
Yeah, they'll be missed.
Sorry,
Like,
Schmodix played, obviously. Like Bennett played, and Brady did play. Yeah, I do remember them. I couldn't think with Coleman or not, which he played against England, wasn't it? But yeah,
yes, yeah,
you think 1-0. I do think Ireland win the match, and as I said, I would like to see them take. I wouldn't like if they started the way they did the last time. I'd be a bit disappointed with that, to be honest, and we could get punished
yeah,
potentially. Finland did carve us open at times, and we defended poorly.
yeah,
Collins gave away. You could say he gave away that goal in that game. We can't be doing silly things like that with a under hit back
yeah.
pass.
No, no, no,
Just
no.
can't
Especially the
afford to
captain.
do that type of thing. Whatever
Captain.
with the opposition score and don't hand them a goal.
uh,
Um,
That was that moment is very disappointing. Like a £20 million player doing that of 2 seasons on a
mm,
captain.
mm.
I expect better,
Look, it can
and
happen, but like
it
we
can
can't
happen.
afford
But
to make those mistakes regularly, is what I'm saying.
can't be doing
That
that. No,
sort
no,
of way.
no.
So, and he's your captain as well. But look,
But Collins is
that
one of my favorite players. So, like,
those
yeah,
things can happen. It just can't happen regularly. But
yeah, yeah,
yeah, no, I think Ireland win it too. I can see a couple of goals in the game. Yeah, I think Finland are really struggling as well. I think they're struggling for confidence. I mean, they haven't got a point in this group. Their form coming into this was very poor as well.
very poor.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can see them struggling. And maybe Ireland will win this game by. I think we might get a decent win here. I'm going to go for 3-1 Ireland, actually.
Ooh, 3-1. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting that. Now you're a
Yeah.
confident man. More in
I
with
am
with
now
the
for some
assist. I
reason.
think.
It's very strange. Very strange.
Yeah, yeah,
Here, I tell you what, Daz. I think we should leave the England video for after the game. Do you know that? Because I think there's a lot in this one. And
yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah.
do you know what I mean? I think we'll do that as well. So, yeah, I think so. So I'll wrap it up here, basically. I'll obviously edit that out. But so, guys at home, let us know what you think in the comments. Once again, if you want to give us your starting 11, what formation would you go? Is Daz's team as ridiculous as I think it is? Uh, subscribe to the channel.
Gonna get slaughtered now.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you slaughtered. Share your maybe the team my team's ridiculous. Share your thoughts, honestly, on give us a prediction. What you expect to happen in the game against Finland, and as I mentioned, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Daz.
Come on, you boys in green.